about the other side of this pandemic? There is a real danger that we're going to start to get complacent. So for the good of future generations, and in all likelihood, us in a few years' time, we really need to remember the way we feel right now and invest accordingly. Because the truth is, you never know where the next pandemic is going to come from.
Yeah, we do. So good to be seen, and it's even better to see you. Welcome back to the channel. Today is February 17th, and to be quite honest, I wish I wouldn't have to make this video. Oh, John, you went on about 20 minutes or so talking about the next pandemic, and not once did you use the word vegan or reference going plant-based at all. Like, how does somebody that has 8.5 million subscribers on YouTube discuss a possible next pandemic, referencing all the talking points that I'm now going to share with you, and not include the word vegan or the phrase plant-based? I just don't know how that happens. Again, this is a video that I don't want to make, but I feel as though this reaction video, which I'm not a fan of, obviously, is pretty important to discuss, because we need to realize that when somebody has 8.5 million subscribers, you cast a big shadow. You have a lot of influence, and I just, politics aside and sponsorships aside, I don't understand why you talk about the next pandemic without mentioning plant-based or vegan. It just blows my mind. For those of you who don't know John Oliver, he happens to be a well-renowned late-night talk show host. He has his own show on HBO, and it just so happened that a couple of days ago, I caught his latest episode, not talking about the current pandemic in which we are currently living, but he's talking about the next pandemic and what might possibly lead us there and how we can prevent it. And he does so by talking to camera for more than 20 minutes, referencing a lot of talking points that I will now bring to the table, and yet does not include plant-based and vegan. And that's why I said that he gave me blue balls, because the more he talked, the more I thought he was going to drop the PB bomb, the V bomb. And he left me with my in my hand. And I'm like, what the is wrong with you? Number one is the fact that he referenced past interviews with current and former scientists who, with precision and very eerily, predicted the current predicament in which we are currently living. And so, had we pay attention, and this is just common sense logic and rational thinking here, had we paid attention to them in the past, we probably would not be sitting in the position in which we currently find ourselves. Number two, he references zoonotic diseases, citing that 75% of them come from animal origin, which means that 3/4 out of every single pandemic are originated from animals. That is to say, a zoonotic disease is passed on and originated from a non-human animal, and for whatever reason, airborne or pathogens are transplanted into humans, and that is how we get eventually sick from a pandemic. And so that's how a pandemic starts 3/4 out of the time, 75% of the time. He mentioned this without mentioning animal exploitation prevention as a whole, as a general rule of thumb. Number three, and I'm going to read this one, it's pretty long. He references deforestation and other man-made actions that contribute to wildlife habitat destruction. In other words, 3/4 of the land area on Earth has been changed by man. That is to say, we have manipulated Earth's surface so much so that only 1/4 of the entire area is what it once was centuries ago. That's mind-blowing. Why? Because humans keep interfering with Mother Nature. We keep manipulating Mother Nature so much so that we are now left with 1/4 of what it once was. Number four, this is where it gets interesting, because this is the part where I wholeheartedly believe that he was going to drop the plant-based and the vegan situation, but no, he went on about wet markets, and he referenced Wuhan, which is believed to be the place where COVID-19 was originated. And so he talks about wet markets and how they are abhorrent and just bloody petri dishes of bacteria, but again, makes no mention whatsoever about veganism and going plant-based. Point number 5 he brings to the table is factory farming and how these practices are breeding grounds and even confirm the need to diminish factory farming. And that's something that I think we can all get behind. But again, he makes absolutely no mention of veganism or going plant-based as a result of solely dwindling the animal consumption and eventually doing away with factory farming in its entirety, slowly but surely. Point number 6, and this is all kudos to him. Upon doing research for the episode, he stumbled across an app whose goal is to spot an injured or ill factory farm animal so that it can be eradicated from the flock and potentially prevent a pandemic. And that's great and all. That's definitely great thinking moving forward. But at the end of the day, would you prefer to have an app that you can single out an animal that is ill and might potentially infect another? Or would you rather have the need to not create an app whatsoever because you do away with factory farming altogether? It just makes no sense. I feel as though in that section of the video, he shines a light on something that should remain in the darkness for good. And finally, and this is what I opened the video with, he mentions the following sentences. We need to remember how we truly feel right now and invest accordingly, because you never know where the next pandemic is going to come from. Yes, we do. You just spent 20 minutes talking about it, about its origins, about what contributes it, about the things that we can actually do to prevent a new future pandemic. So why would you end with a phrase and sentences like we don't know where that's coming from? There's science to back it up, and you yourself brought it to the surface in this episode. You talked about it for 20 minutes. Why would you end? It's just, oh my goodness. I don't even know why I'm making this video, John. You gave me blue balls, man. This is, you gotta think about what you're doing. I mean, 8.5 million subscribers on your YouTube channel. You cast a pretty big shadow. The message that you can send out into the world can do a lot of good. Now, I understand that there are politics involved and you have to satisfy your sponsors and whatever. But at the end of the day, I think we should all have a moral obligation that if we come across something so rich in evidence and facts and statistics that are backed by actual science, I just don't know how you turn your camera on, you record, and not inform the public about the things that may potentially finish the job. Out of curiosity, I suppose, where do you stand on the matter? Do you think that people like John have a moral obligation to inform about the actual facts? Or should they hide behind sponsorships and politics? Let me know in the comments below. That's it, guys. That's where I'm going to leave it. I do apologize if I'm ranting off today instead of providing informative information. But hey, at the end of the day, we're all human. And sometimes I feel the turn on the camera and just simply vent. Anyway, if this is the first time we are meeting, thank you so much for being here. If you got something out of this video, hit that subscribe button and make sure to hit the bell on the way out so that you don't miss a single one of my episodes. I will see you in the next video.